If you've ever had your carry-on taken from you at the gate, this video is for you. You followed the rules. You measured your bag. You packed carefully. And then, right before boarding, a gate agent pointed at you and said, "That needs to be checked." What most passengers don't realize is this. That moment isn't random. It's strategic. After 15 years inside the airline industry, I can tell you the truth no one says out loud. Gate checking isn't just about full overhead bins. It's about speed, statistics, and targeting the passengers least likely to push back. And yes, older travelers are targeted first. When that bag is taken from you, you're not just losing luggage. You're losing access to medication, medical devices, electronics, and the few items you actually need to feel safe and comfortable in the air. This video isn't about arguing with gate agents or breaking rules. It's about understanding the legal, ethical carry-on loopholes airlines quietly rely on you not knowing, and using them calmly, correctly, and confidently. Think of this as a private briefing from someone on the inside. Because once you know how the system actually works, you stop losing the gate check game before it even starts. Why older travelers are targeted, quietly. Airlines rarely talk about this, but the boarding process is built around one primary goal: speed. Every minute a plane sits at the gate costs money. Every delayed departure affects schedules, crew rotations, and performance metrics. So, at the gate, efficiency becomes the priority, and efficiency depends on predictability and compliance. Gate agents are trained to make fast decisions. They scan passengers quickly, not just for bag size, but for signs of delay. They are looking for who might struggle in the aisle, who might need extra time lifting a bag, and who is least likely to challenge a last-minute instruction. Older travelers are often perceived, incorrectly, as more patient, more polite, and more willing to comply. That perception alone makes them easier to select when overhead space starts to feel uncertain. This isn't about respect or fairness. It's about time. From the airline's perspective, asking a compliant passenger to gate check a bag is faster than managing congestion in the aisle or waiting while someone rearranges overhead bins. And when those choices are made in seconds, patterns emerge, quietly and repeatedly. That's why many older travelers walk away from the gate wondering what they did wrong. The answer is nothing. Understanding this removes the self-doubt. It explains why following the rules doesn't always protect you. And it clarifies an important truth. This system isn't designed around individual health needs, medications, or comfort. Once that's understood, everything changes. Because now the goal isn't to get lucky. The goal is to move through the system in a way that protects your needs, calmly, confidently, and without confrontation. Loophole number 1. Medical devices do not count. Federal right. This first loophole is the most important one, and it isn't a loophole at all. Under federal regulations in the United States, medically necessary assistive devices do not count toward an airline's carry-on limit. This includes CPAP machines, portable oxygen concentrators, nebulizers, and bags containing prescription medications and related supplies. Airlines are required to allow these items on board in addition to a standard carry-on and a personal item. What's rarely explained is that airlines don't actively advertise this right. If they did, many more passengers would arrive at the gate with additional bags, and overhead space would fill faster. So instead, many travelers are left trying to squeeze medical equipment into regular luggage, sacrificing space and increasing the risk of damage. That is a mistake. Medical devices should never be packed inside a standard carry-on. They should travel in their own dedicated bag. This does two things. It protects the equipment and makes your rights visually clear at the gate. A simple but effective strategy is labeling. A clearly visible luggage tag that reads medical equipment acts as a visual signal. It often stops questions before they start. If a gate agent does challenge the number of items, the response matters. There is no need for confrontation or emotion. A calm, factual statement is enough. This bag contains a prescribed medical device, which is exempt from carry-on limits under federal regulations. That language matters. It signals awareness without sounding aggressive. In most cases, the conversation ends there. The key is confidence, not volume. Knowing this rule changes everything. It means essential medical equipment stays with you. It means less anxiety at the gate. And it restores control in a situation where many travelers feel powerless, especially those who need that equipment most. Loophole number 2. The personal item is bigger than you think. Most travelers underestimate one of the most valuable pieces of onboard storage: the personal item. When airlines say personal item, many people picture a small purse or a slim backpack. But on most major airlines, the allowed dimensions are closer to 18 by 14 by 8 inches. That's not a tiny accessory. That's a generously sized bag. The real advantage comes from understanding how that space is enforced. At the gate, enforcement is not theoretical. It's physical. If a bag fits into the metal sizer, it passes. How it gets there matters. This is where bag choice becomes critical. Hard-shell bags, especially small rolling ones, are unforgiving. They either fit perfectly, or they don't fit at all. Wheels, handles, and rigid edges leave no room for adjustment. Even being half an inch over can result in a forced gate check. Soft-sided bags behave very differently. A nylon duffel, canvas weekender, or unstructured backpack can compress. Air can be pushed out. Fabric can flex. When placed into a sizer, the bag can conform to the space rather than resist it. This isn't about overpacking. It's about flexibility. For older travelers, this also means better physical control. Soft bags are lighter, easier to lift, and less awkward to maneuver. They reduce strain on shoulders and wrists, and are far more forgiving in tight spaces. Think of it this way: rigid bags argue with the rules. Soft bags cooperate with them. Choosing the right personal item doesn't draw attention. It quietly increases your margin of safety at the gate and in the cabin, while keeping essentials exactly where you need them. Loophole number 3. The 3-second gate agent scan. Before a word is spoken at the gate, a decision is often already forming. Gate agents process hundreds of passengers in a short window. They don't have time for detailed evaluation, so they rely on quick visual cues, often within the first 3 seconds. What they're scanning for isn't rule-breaking. It's potential delay. They look for signs of struggle: a bag that appears heavy, someone shifting weight uncomfortably, fumbling for a boarding pass, stopping to adjust straps or catch a breath. These signals suggest future slowdowns in the aisle, overhead bin delays, or assistance needs. And when efficiency is the goal, those are the passengers most likely to be stopped. This is where presentation, not deception, matters. The goal is to appear calm, prepared, and physically in control. That starts with posture. Standing upright, moving at a steady pace, and avoiding rushed movements sends a clear message. Boarding will be smooth. Carry bags with confidence. Even if a bag has weight, it should look manageable. A shoulder carry is often better than dragging a soft bag along the floor, which can signal fatigue or difficulty. Boarding pass readiness is another powerful cue. Having it visible and ready before reaching the podium reduces scrutiny. It signals familiarity and flow. None of this requires pretending or strain. It's about reducing visible effort. Older travelers often feel pressure to move quickly, which can backfire. Calm, unhurried movement actually creates less attention than urgency. This isn't about hiding. It's about leading with composure. When you look like the easiest passenger to board, you're far less likely to be interrupted. And in that brief, critical scan, confidence often matters more than bag size. Loophole number 4. Wearable storage, without looking ridiculous. One of the simplest ways to reduce bag weight doesn't involve luggage at all. Airlines weigh and measure bags, but they don't weigh people. That doesn't mean piling items into pockets or looking overloaded. It means temporarily redistributing weight in a way that feels natural and dignified. The heaviest items in a carry-on are usually small and dense: battery packs, tablets, books, toiletry kits, medication bottles, and chargers. Moving just a few of these onto the body can make a noticeable difference in how a bag looks and feels. A structured travel jacket or vest with secure pockets works best. The goal is balance, not bulk. Items should be distributed evenly so posture stays upright and movement remains easy. Timing matters. This adjustment should be done after security, in the gate area. Wearing a loaded jacket through screening will trigger alarms and slow things down. Once past security, there's no issue. The benefit goes beyond avoiding attention at the gate. Lighter bags reduce strain on shoulders, elbows, and wrists, areas that are especially vulnerable to injury. Improved balance also lowers fall risk while walking long concourses or boarding ramps. This isn't a trick, it's load management. By shifting a few pounds off the bag and onto the body, the carry-on becomes easier to lift, easier to control, and less likely to draw scrutiny. Once on board, items can be returned to the bag or placed under the seat as needed. Used correctly, wearable storage is invisible, effective, and respectful. Exactly what older travelers need. Loophole number 5. The Airport Shopping Bag Shield. There's one carry-on exception that's rarely challenged, for a simple reason. Airports want people to spend money. Items purchased inside the airport, including duty-free and newsstand purchases, are typically exempt from carry-on limits. Airlines allow this because restricting shopping hurts airport revenue. That creates a quiet advantage. At the gate, appearance matters. Multiple loose items, purse, jacket, food bag, can make even a compliant traveler look overloaded. That visual clutter alone can trigger attention. The fix is temporary consolidation. Before boarding, stop at a shop near the gate and buy something small, a bottle of water, a magazine, or gum. Ask for the largest shopping bag available. Place the purchase inside, then add your purse, scarf, light jacket, or food bag. Several loose items become one clearly acceptable airport shopping bag. Approach the gate. What the agent sees is simple: one carry-on and one airport purchase. That bag rarely gets a second glance. Once your pass is scanned and you're down the jet bridge, pause briefly. Reorganize calmly and continue. Nothing deceptive happened. No rules were broken. You used an allowed category to reduce visual clutter at the most sensitive moment. For older travelers, this preserves dignity while quietly reducing risk, and that makes all the difference. Comfort device strategy: pillow adaptation for seniors. You may have seen advice about stuffing clothes into a pillowcase. While it works, it often looks awkward. There's a better way. Treat the pillow as a comfort device, not extra luggage. Airplane seats offer limited lower back and neck support, so carrying a small lumbar or neck pillow is reasonable and rarely questioned. Preparation matters. Use a zippered, quilted pillow cover that looks neat and intentional. Fill it only with soft, bulky items like a down vest, thick sweater, or scarf. Avoid dense items that create lumps and draw attention. Carry the pillow naturally under your arm while boarding. If asked, a simple explanation is enough. It's for back or neck support. This frees space in your bag and provides real comfort once seated. It's a practical solution that preserves comfort, dignity, and compliance, without bending rules. The booking decision that prevents all of this. The smartest strategy starts before you reach the airport. Boarding order matters. Overhead bin space is taken in sequence. Once it's full, it's gone. This is where many older travelers are put at risk. Basic economy tickets usually board last. By then, bins are often full, making gate checking likely no matter how carefully you packed. For travelers who need medications or medical devices close by, that's a risk not worth taking. The price difference between basic and standard economy is often small, sometimes just $30 or $40. That modest upgrade buys earlier boarding, overhead access, and a calmer gate experience. Think of it as insurance. A little more upfront can prevent pressure, confrontation, and separation from essential items. Frequent travelers have another option. Many airline credit cards include early or priority boarding. While they have annual fees, they often pay for themselves by removing uncertainty. When you board earlier, the pressure disappears. You stow your bag, take your seat, and move on. For older travelers, that peace of mind is often worth far more than the upgrade itself. The jet bridge reconfiguration. Fall risk prevention. Many injuries don't happen in the cabin. They happen during boarding. Jet bridges are sloped and uneven, with seams and subtle height changes. When a personal item is stacked on a rolling bag, balance and control are reduced. It may feel convenient in the terminal, but it's risky just before boarding. The fix is simple. Halfway down the jet bridge, when the line slows, pause briefly. Remove the personal item and carry it on your shoulder or in your hand. Fully extend the rolling bag handle so it trails smoothly behind you. Now each item has a purpose. The rolling bag stays stable on the ground. The personal item stays with you, ready to slide under the seat. Nothing is stacked. Nothing is top-heavy. This improves balance and visibility, reduces fall risk, and prevents rushed, awkward stops in the aisle. When you reach your row, you're ready. One controlled lift, one smooth placement. For older travelers, this small adjustment protects balance, shoulders, and confidence, right when it matters most. Final reframe. This is about health, not cheating. It's worth pausing to reframe everything covered so far. These strategies aren't about bending rules or pushing staff. They're about recognizing a simple truth. The consequences of a mistake aren't the same for every traveler. For younger passengers, a gate-checked bag is usually an inconvenience. Items can be replaced, and the trip continues. For many travelers over 55, the stakes are higher. Carry-ons often contain medications, medical devices, or mobility support. Losing access, even briefly, can turn a routine flight into a health concern. This isn't about refusing to cooperate. It's about informed cooperation. Calm confidence, not confrontation, reduces risk. Knowing your rights, choosing the right setup, and preparing in advance allows you to move through the system without stress. You're not asking for special treatment. You're protecting your health and independence. That distinction matters. Travel shouldn't require surrendering control over the items that keep you well. With preparation, it's possible to travel safely and with dignity, without conflict or raised voices. That's the goal. If you've ever been forced to gate-check a bag containing medications or essential items, consider sharing your experience in the comments. Your insight may help another traveler avoid the same situation. These stories build awareness and confidence, and remind others they're not alone. Travel doesn't have to feel like an endurance test. With the right knowledge and a calm approach, it can be manageable, even comfortable. Travel well, travel safely, and keep what supports your health exactly where it belongs, within reach.